Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Adam Brodsky. I had the pleasure of serving on the board with Rob and Hala in the past, and myself, along with Jeremy and Lisa and Ivy and Hala and Rob, we're honored to have you here this evening. So this is quite a milestone. I just made some remarks about Rob, and then a few people want to make some quick speeches and some presentations regarding this milestone in Rob and Cindy's life. So, so I don't even know where to start. I witnessed firsthand your devotion, Rob's devotion and tenacity to move this community by force of will into the future. You worked tirelessly at all hours, 7 days a week, to create a vision and foundation for the continued success of Newcastle. The list is vast and never-ending, but I will take a stab at some of the highlights that your hard work brought to fruition. Chappaqua Crossing. Your appetizer into the world of politics, people don't remember that there was a huge groundswell of opposition, anger and concern from many different residents in town. Meetings that went past midnight, and many residents who were legitimately concerned about their house prices and traffic. You somehow figured out a way to break the logjam, and in the process got many amenities for the town, including but not limited to Chapac. This project has been by most accounts a success, but by no means was the end result a certainty during the initial weeks and months of your service. But somehow you created a roadmap that through litigation and 10 years of back and forth with a developer no one could see, but you made it happen. Community engagement. From Chappaqua Moms to the newsletter to the town website, you threw open the doors of Town Hall and forced the residents to take note of everything their town government was doing for them. You raised the bar extremely high for those who follow you. For better or worse, you were available to residents 24/7, and for future representatives of this town, I only hope you follow Rob's model, I guess. Acknowledgement of special members of the community. Community engagement is one thing, but making government a true government for everyone is something else entirely. From events for autism to the EPIC committee to victims of gun violence to the Holocaust Memorial to being ahead of the curve on environmental issues and health and wellness, the list goes on and on. Streetscape and leaving the hamlet in a position of success for the future. Enduring and managing the endless concerns from residents and storekeepers when the project would not end, to overseeing the largest home improvement project in Newcastle's recent history. By your tenacity and persistence, it got done. You steered the ship and have a beautiful hamlet that future generations can now enjoy. The list of your accomplishments is almost endless, and there's one reason it is endless. I witnessed firsthand your open-mindedness to pursue any reasonable idea that was presented to you if you thought it would make your home a better place. In my life, the people I have seen who are most successful in their endeavors are not those who are closed-minded, but those who open their thoughts and minds to the dreams of others. Rob, you have the habit of saying yes, not no. That is what you did as supervisor on a truly individual basis. I saw time after time residents who approached you with an idea or concern, and your response was yes, we can fix that problem, or yes, we'll embrace that idea, and start a committee, as Jeremy knows, to work on that. Many committees. To think this journey started maybe 8 years ago when one of your children were sledding at Gedney Park and went into a tree because the hill was pitched incorrectly. You got snubbed by someone in town government when you asked them to have the hill fixed. I'm happy to report that the hill has been fixed many years ago by you when you first were elected to office. It truly shows that when a person stands up to make a change and goes for it, they leave the world a better place. Without a doubt, you are now leaving Newcastle a vastly improved place. It is completely different from when you started this journey more than 6 years ago, and that is the most important legacy of all. So I am honored on behalf of the town. Go for it.
We're changing it up a little bit since this is not really that organized. I apologize. So we're all going to say something before we give this to Rob. My relationship with Rob started out probably a little more contentious than others, starting in 2015. There was some sparring, which not you and me as much, but continued through the course of our tenure. But there are a few people who have really genuinely made really tremendous impact on our community as much as Rob has. And you can agree or disagree about a particular result. You can agree or disagree about how we necessarily got there. But Rob genuinely cared, and he moved that ball forward. Stagnation certainly is not, part of his vernacular. He does not sit and wait. He goes and he does. I'm proud to have worked with Rob. We did not always agree, but for the most part, I think that, we did collectively as a town board, the vast majority of votes. Certainly there were some that we didn't. That we all looked and worked together, and in the end, even if we did that sparring I just mentioned before, in the end, what did we do? We did the people or town's work. We got it done. So I can say that I'm proud to have worked with you, Rob. It's been a pleasure generally. I mean, sometimes not as much. I do get I get a welling of happiness when I hear George Latimer call you Bob. I appreciate that Jill on occasion has to, or me, or Lisa, or someone else phonetically write out, this is how you say his name, or whoever it may be.
They still mess it up.
I know, but it adds a little excitement to the day. But you really, I won't go into all the details of things that you've done because a lot of them speak for themselves. But I want to thank you for your effort and time and energy. And I think overall, if it was a math equation, we're certainly in a far better place numerically than we were before. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, after we do Rob, and then we'll do Hala just to.
Okay. Jeremy's in charge.
There was no in charge. I just thought we would do that.
Take charge. It's all good.
I can say if you want.
You don't have to
Okay.
say.
You want to be in the paper.
Huh? I know, he likes the photo ops. Okay, I have a little something right now, but I'm generally better speaking off the cuff, so I'm going to read and then I'm going to say a few more things. So, Lisa Katz, as we say goodbye to Rob today, I want to thank him for his service for the past 6 years. Rob and I ran together back then, and I can say with certainty that he is definitely leaving the town in a much better place than he found it. Rob has always been willing to fight for whatever he feels strongly about, and though he may try to hide it, he really is a caring and compassionate person with a strong sense of community. One of the many things I admire about Rob is his passion. From reading to Kids at Grafflin to honoring the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts to my personal favorite, Supervisor in the dunk tank, Rob truly puts his community first, and that's really to be applauded. Rob also, as many of you know, is always outspoken and very focused on getting things done. He's probably the most focused and person I have ever seen, and can somehow manage to run a town and a business and somewhat of a family, though you may correct me on that, all at once, and it's truly amazing. And Newcastle's seen a lot of big changes under his leadership in the past 6 years, including a transparent local government with the start of the e-newsletter, the completion of our long overdue infrastructure and streetscape project, our soon-to-be downtown basketball court and inclusive playground, the negotiation of great improvements at Chappaqua Crossing, the addition of DeChico's to Millwood, improving the safety of our sled hill at Gedney Park, many sustainability improvements like our plastic bag ban, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And we can thank Rob for his leadership in making all of this happen and in always keeping us entertained during the process. Rob, I didn't know you that well 6 years ago when we first ran, but I'm thrilled to call you my friend, and I wish you the best in your retirement. You've definitely earned it. Best luck and enjoy, Rob. You know you're going to miss us so much. Every Tuesday night, you're going to want to be back here. And Cindy, let us know when you're ready to kick him out.
Right, yeah. He can come and, sit in the audience.
But, so those were kind of my prepared remarks. And then personally, I just think that, Ivy has a lot of big shoes to fill, and whoever comes after that, really, you turn the town around. And we're in such a better place than we were 6 years ago, and really that's all thanks to you. So I think everyone in this town should really owe you a big round of applause. So thanks, Rob.
So I'm the closing act.
I may be the supervisor-elect, but I'm at the moment still the most junior member of the town board, so they like to remind me of that.
You're a rookie.
I'm a rookie. So when Adam Brodsky contacted me and asked me to say a few words about Rob, my first response was, "Oh, is it going to be a roast?" But Adam assured me that it's not a roast, which is just as well because I'm actually not very funny. So I think I better stick with being sincere and speaking from my heart. When I joined the town board in 2018, Rob and I had just campaigned on opposing tickets. And so not for the same seat, of course, but nevertheless, there was a period there of a couple of weeks, if not months, where we were sort of unsure of each other and testing each other out. And luckily, that period was reasonably brief because, to his credit, Rob really does practice what he preaches with regard to nonpartisan governance. So Rob really doesn't see people as red or blue. He doesn't see party, he sees the person. Rob really values hard work. He values people who are willing to go the extra mile to get things done, as you've heard. He likes people who are willing to say yes, kind of as Adam was speaking to earlier. So people who are able to overcome obstacles rather than dwelling on all the reasons why something can't happen. And so once I had shown Rob that I was capable of rolling up my sleeves, he put me to work. And I'm really grateful that he did, because what he trusted me with in terms of a portfolio of projects to work on was both challenging and rewarding, and really has prepared me for what is to come. Rob, you set a really ambitious agenda, and as you've heard tonight, Rob was really able to accomplish a lot of the goals that he set for himself and for the town with regard to the downtown infrastructure project, the comprehensive plan, those two being sort of foremost among his accomplishments. But then there's other projects that are sort of planned and are in the stages of design and development right now, including the playground and basketball court and the downtown Chappaqua rezoning project. And I really look forward to being able to take credit for those projects. So, Rob, we thank you for your service to our community, your hard work, your communication skills, your tenacity, your commitment to success. You have indeed set a very high bar. Please don't be a stranger. Please don't stop taking my phone calls. And thank you for everything you've done.
So, my name is Steve Wolk. I'm the chair of the Sustainability Advisory Board. I feel the need to say first, the Sustainability Advisory Board does not support any politician. We are indifferent to party and that sort of thing. And I would even say the individuals on the board are not one-issue voters. Now, having said that, I will tell you that I would think that the folks on the board would agree with me when I say that Rob Greenstein is a friend of the environment, and more importantly, a friend of the next generation, and the next generation, and the generation after that. When we work on things like the plastic bag and paper reduction, when we work on green electricity, these are all firsts in New York State. When we work on solar on houses and all these kinds of things, the thought is we need to work on this for our children and our grandchildren. And when I look at what's happening at the federal level and with politics, and I'm amazed because I'm thinking, if I was one of those politicians, I'd want to think, what am I going to tell my children? And what am I going to tell my grandchildren? Am I going to be proud of myself? Are they going to be proud of me? Rob, your grandchildren will be proud of you because you've made the difference. And it's your leadership that has gotten all these things across the finish line. So I think we owe you a debt of gratitude. I think the next generation does as well. And when they say to you in 20 years and 30 years from now, Dad, Grandpa, or even great-grandpa at some point, what did you do? Did you help? The answer is absolutely. So, congratulations.
You're lucky he's a primary.
I don't usually get up to speak, so forgive me. Nick's suggestion was I should start this off with Rob Greenstein. Greenstein. And I still don't get the joke. I'm a Mets fan. 6 years ago, Rob, you started out with a very ambitious agenda. Not only have you led the town to accomplish the goals that you set, but you've done even more. You've been a leader in public safety with the Hands Off the Wheels program. You've been an advocate in protecting the environment, supporting our plastic bag ban. You've set the benchmark for public communication with the e-newsletter and your reports. And you've brought the town infrastructure project to fruition and fostered the comprehensive plan. You've developed important recreation initiatives. That basketball court is under construction and the inclusive playground expected to be finished in June. You were serious about increased communication between residents, merchants, property owners, and the town board. You had a lot to tell the community, and of course, people had a lot to say in response. Some good, some bad, but you welcomed it all. Your term has been shaped by your boundless energy and a can-do attitude. Frankly, I don't think you sleep. It took me a couple years to get you to stop texting me at 4:30 a.m. Thank you, my poor husband is really, anyway. Emails were okay, but no texts before 6 a.m. And although you asked me my advice on how best to handle certain situations, and I appreciated the ask, it was clear to me that you had your own ideas on how you would get things done, and you certainly did them your way. Many of us in this room know your dedication and your sacrifices. You've shaped Newcastle and made it a better place to live, work, and play, and we thank you. You want to do the plaques? Yeah, sure. Come on. Yeah, come. So, first of many plaques today, Rob?
So, on behalf of the town of Newcastle, Rob, I'd like to present this to the Honorable Robert J. Greenstein, Supervisor,
think you're
Town
supposed
of
to be up here.
Newcastle. Come on up, 2014 to 2019. You have risen from outsider to government leader. You've helped to spark a national initiative in public safety. You've shown us that a vision for our future can become a reality for our residents and business community. You've seen the value in increased communication and collaboration. Your 6 years of service as supervisor and colleague will have a lasting impact on our community. With deep appreciation, your fellow board members, colleagues, and friends.
I hope you didn't pay by the letter. Am I supposed to do my speech now?
Rob, hold it up for a second, we get a picture.
This one is most important, is examiner.
There's some other
Just a couple
proclamations
of
too.
proclamations.
Okay, you guys ready? I just have my eyes closed.
Got more to come.
Good evening, everybody. I'm bringing some additional bling for this gentleman, legislative. County Executive Representative, Chief of Staff was here for a little while and wasn't able to stay, but asked if I would, on behalf of his office, present. And the best resolve of all in his proclamation is a resolve that as the Westchester County Executive, I, George Latimer, recognize that in Newcastle, Town Supervisor Robert J. Greenstein, we have an outstanding citizen who is worthy of the esteem of all who are fortunate to know him. So I think that is apt and certainly describes. Rob, you and I have spent a lot of time together over the last 6 years. I hope Cindy's not jealous. Whether it was housing maybe in the wrong place, or airports maybe in the wrong place, or sewers not in the right place, or any number of issues, we have worked closely together. At times sharp elbows, but on a substantive basis, never on a personal basis. On the substantive basis, what you have accomplished locally is pretty manifest. And it's summed up here and in the wonderful statements and from the heart from people that know you best in government, from your former public servants. As one who, on a more regional basis, has worked with you, I too share their good feelings and their thanks. You have been the consummate public servant. I too wonder, trying to balance practice as a trial attorney and supervisor of a town. That's not easy, and the family suffers, and certainly Cindy and others have given through your efforts a lot of time. And on behalf of everybody, certainly the family, thank you for doing that. I think trial attorney is a great background. Perhaps at times you were a little bit more schooled in the arts of pugilism than I, as a salesperson, have perhaps discharged. But nonetheless, we each have our own style. And you have, with passion.
It's a roast.
Exactly. It wasn't too bad, was it?
Just the beginning.
I think it was inside the line, but you know what, you get to judge for sure. And I will forever note that when thinking back on what we worked on, we actually accomplished pretty much nothing. Sewage still hasn't been diverted, the airport is still the airport, and the foundation's being poured on the Huns Lane project, despite some good ideas to go elsewhere.
Well, now, you can take credit for that
But with that said, Newcastle was always in the room, and you are getting out. I, for some reason, am going back into discussion of sewage and sewers, and I am wistful for the fact that you can go on to other things. Rob, you've been a great supervisor. You've been a friend. We've worked as co-public servants together. I thank you for that. And on behalf of the more important branch of government, the County Board of Legislators, we also have lots more small words and a small font given all the accomplishments. This comes with a lot of good feeling. Now, I can't present it because I technically retired this past Friday, effective Sunday. So I'm no longer a county legislator, and this is the last of the 3,000 some odd proclamations with Halas that I've given out. But on behalf of the board, they resolved, and it will be up on the Jumbotron.
Nice.
All will know, and the certain amount of familial reverence is appropriate. So at home, good luck with everything. But on behalf of the legislature and Chairman Ben Boykin, they have honored you, recognized your dedication and public service, congratulate Supervisor Robert Greenstein for his years of faithful service to Westchester County, and have resolved that December, this is the 18th, 2019, tomorrow, has been proclaimed, and for all to know, Robert Greenstein Day in Westchester County. Congratulations, Robert Greenstein. Here's the county exec's one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where's
Enjoy.
the jumbo? Where's the jumbo?
It's outside the Senate. Is that it for me to speak?
We have like
One or two.
certainly one more.
We always do that for the
Every
cups.
year, annually?
Wait a second, so we were running a little bit late, so unfortunately you missed Oscar. But he did provide a note from the Clintons. Dear Rob, we are thrilled to join with our friends and neighbors in thanking you for your dedicated service as supervisor of the town of Newcastle over the past 6 years. We are grateful for your steady leadership and faithful stewardship of our beloved community, and send you our best wishes for health, happiness, and fulfillment in all your future pursuits. Sincerely, Hillary and Bill.
Wow.
Join us.
Thank you.
Wait a second, there's actually another proclamation. We were busy.
So excited to do my speech.
Oh, yeah, and the clock.
Jill, the clock
And
also.
the painting.
Oh, gosh, yeah, well, proclamation? This is from Pete Hartman. I keep looking at it like.
Jeremy wants to do
There you
it.
are.
Clearly, go.
Go for it.
That's where we
It's in your office.
You got a truck to carry this?
All right, Rob, from Senator Pete Harcum, New York State Senator. I guess I'm speaking in his behalf. It's my pleasure and yours. It's proclaimed after all the words before that the New York State Senate is proud to honor the Newcastle Town Supervisor, Robert Greenstein, for his leadership of the town of Newcastle and his commitment to improving the community. So thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Senator. I'll let him know. Senator, one day.
And last but not least, I think,
Yeah.
Yes.
you have to open it now, though. Where's Peg?
Oh.
Oh, Peg, you're so nice.
On behalf
I don't
of
know if I can
the
open this.
your fellow town board members. From Peg. From all of it. Made by Peg. From us.
It's an original.
Town board should just
We're making them.
everybody's shot.
It's a lot of bubble wrap. It's a lot of bubble wrap. She was afraid we'd break it or something.
Aw.
Thank you, Peg.
Oh,
Just in time. Very nice. Thank you. Beautiful. Your mom is very talented. She's also, I'm not gonna say anything else. Cindy said, one more meeting, get through. I almost just blew it. And where's Mike? By the way, one of my favorite stories, where's Mike? We were at an Eagle Scout ceremony, and it was, something tragic had happened, and Mike sent me a text. It said we should do a minute of silence. And I'm sitting there, I'm saying, that's a good idea, but then I'm thinking, wait a second, a minute's a long time. So I texted him back. I said, a minute of silence? He said, oh no, a moment of silence. We almost had a minute of silence. Should have been awkward. So I have this little,
anyway, go ahead.
imagine if it was a minute of silence though? What? Behave yourself over here. Here's my speech. So much has changed in Newcastle since I was elected 6 years ago. But for me, the biggest change is what I've learned. I've learned a lot about our town. I've learned that our town employees are incredible. They're professional, hardworking, and dedicated to serving our community. Our town department heads are experienced and insightful, a true pleasure to work with, and I would like to thank all of you. And Chief Ferry, thank you for coming back for tonight's ceremony. I learned the benefits of working with the biggest municipal attorneys in the county, Keenan Bean. We've got a lot done, and we could not have done so without the size and experience of their skilled team. Thank you for your guidance over the last 6 years and for keeping me out of trouble. But the most important thing I learned is just how important Jill Simon Shapiro is to our town. I'm getting a little choked up. When I was elected 6 years ago, there was only one person who stepped up to help me, and that was Jill. Her institutional knowledge was invaluable. Her work ethic was immediately apparent. Jill reluctantly accepted my challenge to be town administrator. She took a huge risk to take the job. She stepped away from a comfortable job as town clerk and receive her taxes. For what? To work with a brand new town board, including town supervisor with zero experience. We had brand new town attorneys. From day one, Jill did an incredible job. She faced great challenges in her first 6 months. Criticisms of me somehow became criticisms of her. But together we overcame those challenges. Jill has been the secret to our success. Thank you, Jill. I'd also like to thank our greatest resource, our residents. So many take the time out of their busy schedules to volunteer for the town. The hard work makes a huge difference in our community and multiplies the things we can accomplish. I'd also like to thank the Newcastle Republican leaders. They supported me, a Democrat, 3 times without regard to my political affiliation. They put community first, as I have tried to do over the years. This leads me to another point. We are a community. We're a small and involved town. We're neighbors and citizens first and foremost. In local politics, labels shouldn't matter. I hope I proved that over the last 6 years. And I've certainly tried to do so. A little over 6 years ago, when I first ran for supervisor, I gave my closing statement at the League of Women Voters Candidates Night. I mentioned that I recently attended a local forum in Scarsdale, and the mayor was trying to summarize the state of the village in one word. He couldn't. So he summarized it by simply saying that as a village, we continue to move forward. I said at the League of Women Voters at that time that I didn't think we could say the same thing. I now do. I believe we are heading in the right direction. I'm very confident that Ivy, Lisa, Jeremy, Jason, and Lauren will continue to make Newcastle an even better place to live, work, and raise a family. And if I was to summarize the state of our town in one word, that word would be community. Finally, without taking anything away from those who I have already thanked, I cannot leave tonight without letting you all know that I'm nothing without my family. Our 3 children, who are not here tonight. But that's okay, Danielle. Have some to eat.
It's a great batting average.
Exactly, I'll take
Great
it.
batting.
I'll take it. Our 3 children, especially one, spent 6 years being patient and understanding of the demands of my job. And my wife Cindy, who has been beside me and so supportive. I didn't make any face this time. I have a pause or two. Now, without her, I couldn't have served the town as I have. It was truly an honor to serve the citizens of Newcastle, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, Act 2. Now I get to talk about my friend Hala Makowska. So, when I ran for the town board in 2017, Hala became my mentor. I had a lot of experience in government, but what I knew about local issues in 2017 was mostly informed by Chappaqua moms. So as you can imagine, I had a lot of learning to do. And Hala really took me under her wing. She was the most patient and incredible teacher I could have asked for. Hala had a command of the issues that was absolutely unbelievable. And anyone who's ever talked to her about policy will tell you that she can recall facts and figures just off of the top of her head. It's pretty incredible. And I'm a bit of a wonk myself, so the two of us just really hit it off right from the beginning. And Hala really taught me what I needed to know, not just to win a campaign, but really to make that transition from campaigning to actually being a member of the town board. Hala's really one of the most thoughtful, analytical, and brilliant people who I've ever had the opportunity to work with. She's the member of our town board who's most likely to say, "Can you put a spreadsheet together for me on that?" And then she actually digs into the data, not just like me to try to look for the conclusions or to come up with a talking point, but she actually really kind of gets into the messy data that informs all of the decisions that she's made on the town board. It's pretty incredible, really. So I'll speak to the elephant in the room. Hala and Rob, I think a lot of us cannot believe that we're actually honoring the two of you together in the same night. So, you know, you're kind of like yin and yang. Maybe the Yankees and the Red Sox, or Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, and those of us who served on the town board with you at the same time, we're kind of worried about a knockout sometimes. But honestly, truthfully, I think we benefited from your individual and collective collaboration on the town board. You kind of balance each other out, really. Hala's analytical approach is really balanced by Rob's tenacious drive. Rob's smooth communication skills were really balanced by Hala's deep analytical dives. And so, Hala, I will miss you terribly. And I know that you found your passion, and I get it. And as I've said to people before, I have every confidence that the restaurant you someday start will be just the utmost success. It will be fully optimized, there will be cost controls and total quality improvement, and you will be a success. So thank you so much for your service to our town, and personally, thank you for being my mentor and my friend.
That's a hard act to follow, but anyone who knows Hala probably can sum her up in one word, which is matrix, because Hala always wants that detail. When she starts off a sentence, it says, let's call it, I'd like to call it something, and you know a long story is going to come out, or analysis is going to come out, but she wants to break it down and see the numbers and figure it out. And I do think that sometimes some of us did feel like a referee when there was some, I said before, sparring. There was certainly some sparring at times. But I agree wholeheartedly with Ivy that we're all better for it. For both of you, different skill sets and some of the same skill sets, but completely dedicated to the town. And I know for having run with you and knowing, both of us wide-eyed and, what's going to happen next, what do we do? I had some experience just from where I was in life and my family, but like you, we had to hit the ground running. And but for your tutelage on many things, and your experience, frankly, in a different arena than many of us have. I'm certainly more familiar now, or pardon me, then, and just now by living in the hamlet here, than it was about issues that may impact Ossining, that was more impactful to Millwood, and you certainly knew all of that. Ivy mentioned passionate, but also I would say compassionate as well. You are genuinely a friend, you're genuinely a smart person, and as much as I do hope that you have a successful restaurant, I'd prefer that it be here in one of our hamlets. Maybe we can make sure that you get gas to that, even though, there are issues up and down with moratoriums or not. But collectively, the community is better. You've been involved and been a part of this process that made this happen, and I can't stress enough, I could not be here without you being a part of that journey. So thank you very much. I hope that you are still a friend, meaning coming by and asking a few questions, not like someone else in the audience who asks every question all the time, but come by and join us. So thank you very much.
Hala, I just wanted to thank you for your dedication to Newcastle, both as part of the fire department before you came on the board, and then you made the questionable decision to run and serve up here with the rest of us. And you did always bring a different viewpoint, which I really always appreciated. And you represented the West End like no one ever can or ever probably will. And for that, we and the community really should be grateful, because you brought issues before us that we were not fully aware of, and I think we're really grateful for that. I would like to never see a Matrix again, because you're amazing with how you delve into every aspect of every issue, and everything. Frankly, the matrices, I hate to admit, were actually pretty helpful. And seeing everything set out on a spreadsheet, and that, you bring something that I think will probably continue, much to the chagrin of the employees of the town, but it's been quite helpful. So I will miss you, I will miss talking to you, and I will miss your insight, and I wish you every luck as you go on to bigger and better and hopefully more fun things. So thank you very much.
So, from the town of Newcastle, the Honorable Hala Makowska, Councilman, Town of Newcastle, 2016-2019, with gratitude for your years of public service to the Newcastle community as a Newcastle Town Board member, for 4 years as a Newcastle Town Board liaison to the Millwood West End Advisory Board, and as a Millwood Fire Commissioner. With thanks from your fellow board members, colleagues, and friends, Chappaqua, New York, December 17th, 2019.
Great, I appreciate it. Before you give your speech, we have a couple more proclamations.
Oh, a bag.
And a bag. Jump in the gun here.
And also, evidently, Peter Harcum likes the both of you. From Senator Peter Harcum, honoring Councilwoman Hala Makowska for her dedicated public service, proclaimed that the New York State Senate is proud to honor you for your service to the town of Newcastle and your dedication to improving the community.
Thank you. There's Mike.
So as I explained before, I'm out, and I'm probably breaking some law doing this. But when I heard that you and Rob were being honored, I said, I'm going. We spent a lot of time together and worked hard and did our best together, you and I also. We met when I ran for Senate. You were very helpful.
I threw you a party.
You did, and it did scare me a little bit to meet this woman. It wasn't matrices back then, but it was deep dive analysis, and I can fancy myself a bit of a wonk also, and you have outwonked many of us for sure. Hal is a unique person because she has the analytic skills, and the decision tree is evident and always paramount, but she has the tenacity to pull it off, and she has the really great style and a beautiful smile, and just the personality that you want to be with her and you want to work out problems together. And that's a unique combination in public service. We need more Hallas, and we're really lucky that we have her. We all know that, and this is going to be shameful, I'm sorry, but we all know that politics is the art of making sausage. And she's taken it to another level, if you will. French or some other cuisine, certainly haute cuisine and higher than perhaps the mere sausage making that we do and the compromising that we do. But when you called me, as you undoubtedly spoke to each of your colleagues and others and said, this is what I'm going off and doing, and I'm going to go study, I'm leaving government, I'm going to go, I think some of us perhaps, and I know I did, felt, well, it seems a little larkish, maybe it'll be, maybe it won't be. And then you hang up and you realize, wait a second, this is Hala. This woman is going to accomplish what she sets out to accomplish because she always has. And it's no surprise that you've been successful thus far. Wherever the restaurant is, in town or not, I'm coming. You should put us all down for a reservation. And your love and your devotion to whatever you do is so manifest. And so on behalf of the county board that in representing Ben, we're here to say thank you. I don't know if you have room in your kitchen or in your restaurant for one of these. You're going to need to bring in your bling to your place of work. But Hala, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks
Michael.
for all you've done. And the ubiquitous and the omnipresent day is yours, Ben Boykin and the County Board of Legislators, to honor a dedicated public servant. Congratulate Councilwoman Hala Makowska for her years of faithful service to Westchester County. Have further resolved that December 19, 2019, be hereby proclaimed for all to know on the Jumbotron, which is outside the county center. Ladies and gentlemen, Hala Makowska Day in Westchester County.
That's exciting. Oh my God, I have to take a video.
Please do.
Okay, just real quick. So I just wanted to give my thanks as well. Like I said, don't normally, come up and speak, but thank you so much for the construction insight you brought to the board. You know that we could not have finished this project without you, and Matrix is, as far as I'm concerned, forever. And thanks also for the passion about all things Millwood in the West End. First as a Millwood Fire Commissioner, and then as a Newcastle Town Board member. Newcastle is so lucky to have such dedicated individuals who devote endless hours to public service. I wish you continued success in your next chapter.
Thank you. Thank you.
And, because again, we were just running a little late, from the Clintons, dear Hala, thank you for your service as a board member of the town of Newcastle over the past 4 years. We are grateful for your participation and contributions to our beloved community and send you our best for health, happiness, and fulfillment in all your future pursuits. Hillary and Bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
Well, I'm just going to keep it sort of short. And the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to thank Jill, and I'd like to thank all of the people, all the department heads, everyone here who helped make this town run. I have traveled lots of different places, and because I also live in a community where there's overlapping boundaries pretty much over there in the West End, it's where 4 towns meet. My awareness, now that I've served on the town board, and how very privileged we are to live in such an amazingly beautiful place that's stewarded by such thoughtful and caring people. We're very lucky, and we're very grateful, and I just really wanted to thank you and thank also all the other people on the board members who help give their energy to make this town a great place to live. There's lots of reasons why we're lucky, but we are really, really lucky, and I feel lucky to have served with you. Running with Jeremy and Ivy and, sort of going through that process of elections was definitely a learning curve. I've had my own bout of cantankerousness over the very controversial Millwood firehouse that has ended up to be a great success, and perhaps controversy in some ways can actually lead to a better outcome. And I'm hoping that on a larger scale, in the politics of our current environment, that this controversy will ultimately result in a better form of government, and the way that people who work together treat each other. I know that Rob and I have had our issues, and I've had to come to terms with that and not take it personally, because my initial reaction was to do so, but I left that behind pretty much 7 months into it. And I do admire Rob for his tenacity in getting things done. And I also really want to say that the balance of the board as it was composed most recently, and what I believe it's going to be composed of in the future, is going to be such that there will be really, really constructive dialogue between the board members in the goal of coming out with the best outcome for our community. I was there with Jeremy when we won, and I was there with Ivy when we were looking at the ballots and said, oh my God, Ivy won. I think I was the one who called it out, looking at the numbers. It was me. I just want to say, congratulate all of you who are on the board, because I know that you're going to make such a difference. And I know the fact that you even invested in running for that office makes you more aware of how the community works and what people are looking for, and you're going to make great decisions. And for me personally, it's been 20 years of community service. A lot of it has been really intense and taken up a lot of time. And I'm on my Act 3, and I had no idea that this phase of my life would be so fantastic, but it is. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. You guys helped make it fantastic, and I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next. Thank you.